Hello, everybody. My name is Linda Hackner. I'm the Director of Education at the Cape Town Holocaust and Genocide Centre. And this is a very warm welcome to all grade 11 learners and grade 11 educators. We usually host grade 11 learners at our centre, usually in the third term, when grade 11s are doing the section of the curriculum which deals with the pseudoscience of race theory, the pseudoscience of eugenics, and the impact that this had on 19th and 20th century governments and how it underpinned and informed the way those governments behaved. You can't come to us, so we're very happy to bring to you this section of your curriculum in units each day perhaps, or maybe twice a day, however you want to use this. The teachers are very welcome to use it in whichever way you like, as are the learners, the grade 11s. So the first thing we're going to do is just introduce to you and give you an overview of what we are planning to do in the following units. So first of all, we're going to be talking about the pseudoscience of race, the pseudoscientific ideas of race. Well, let's first unpack the notion of pseudoscience. What is pseudoscience? What does the word pseudo actually mean? And pseudo means false or fake or inaccurate, without proof, without fact. So the theory of race today we understand as being pseudo-scientific, false science, mistaken science. But in the days that they believed this, that scientists believed this, they believed it to be true. So it wasn't as if the scientists were putting out this information deliberately to dupe people or to falsify what they understood. The scientists believed at that time that this was true. Today, of course, we know that it's not true. And learners, that's how science evolves. So if we have a look at this image here, you'll see a picture of the world. It's a picture of the globe. You've probably seen pictures like this many times. It's a picture of Earth taken from space. You can see beautiful South America. You can see the wondrous oceans. But grade 11s, there was a time when people believed that the Earth was flat. And they believed it, and it was said to be scientifically proven. In fact, in the 4th and 5th centuries, there were cartographers who made maps showing the Earth as flat and showing that if you rowed your boat to the end of the Earth, you'd fall off the edge. And so science evolves, grade 11s, and that's, thank God it does. We keep learning, and so although the ideas that we understand of race in those days were pseudo-scientific, we know today that there's no basis to them whatsoever. And the same with eugenics. So we will also be dealing with the pseudoscience of eugenics. One of the most important things when you're looking at any history, and if you're going to be a historian, which you are, I hope all of you have chosen history, is the where, when, and why of things. This is known as context, okay? We have to understand when things happened, where they happened. This helps us understand why they happened. Why things happened, often if you look at when and where they happened, we understand things better. And so where, when, and why these ideas took root is very, very, very important. And so when we think about the consequences of these things that came out of these pseudoscientific ideas, and when we look at the consequences, we can learn from those. Now, there are two case studies that we're going to do. The one is the case study of Australia, and the other is the case study of Nazi Germany. Now, if you've chosen to do history in grade 11, then in all likelihood, you will remember studying the rise of Nazism in Germany and what the consequences of that was. Now, doing pseudoscience in terms of eugenics and race will give you a much deeper understanding of how science and politics worked together in order to create what happened both in Australia and in Nazi Germany and in fact South Africa, but I'll talk about that later. That very often politics used science to underpin and give legitimacy to what they were doing. So these are the things that we're going to look at today. Teachers, you can choose either to do Australia or Nazi Germany. I know that you don't have to do both, but I am going to do both in this series. So are these ideas still affecting us today? If they are, how are they affecting us today? And most importantly, what the heck has this got to do with me, a grade 11 learner in South Africa, in this time where we're all sort of sitting in our little units locked down? How does this affect me? Why does it affect me? And indeed, why should I bother to learn this? And I really think, grade 11s, that this is a reasonable question to be asking. You are really well within your rights to ask, why are we learning about Australia? Why are we learning about Europe? Australia in the 1900s, Europe in the mid-1900s. Why are we learning about this? What's it got to do with South Africa? What's it got to do with us? And my answer to you, grade 11s, is that it has everything to do with us. Everything to do with us. So I'm going to ask you a question now. And my question to you is, think about what you think 46 years of legalized apartheid did to people in this country. Maybe not you specifically, because you weren't born then, but certainly your parents, certainly your grandparents, and certainly most people around you, and indeed you, whether or not you feel it now or not, it's there and it's done something. And I want you to think about that for a minute. And if you're with someone in the room where you're looking at this, you're sitting and looking at this with a family member, ask the questions and you'll see that the answers are as follows. That it made us see one another as different. It made us see one another as different. It made us believe in the notion, in the idea of superior humans and inferior humans. It made us believe in differences that really are only skin deep. So when there's someone who's got a different ethnicity, a different religion, a different language, comes from a different country, has a different culture, you judge those people and you believe that they are inherently different from you. But this, of course, is not true. And of course, it made race seem real. Grade 11's race is not real. We don't have another word to use to say that someone looks different from us. We don't have another word. Race has become the catch-all word. But the word race is full of so many things that are negative and have all sorts of historical connotations attached. But grade 11, race is not real. Science has proven, and this is provable science, this is not pseudo, this is provable factual science. I can check your DNA, you can check my DNA, and you'll find that we are 99.9% the same. That's it, and that's the truth of it. So race is not real. And you know, when you were little, everyone said there's only one race, the human race. But grade 11s, if somebody says to you, racism is not real, then you're going to ask what turnip truck they fell off, because racism is real. Why? Because people are racist. Why? Because people create categories about other people. People create differences because maybe of how people look, because maybe of how people pray, because maybe of how people's cultural practices differ. People get frightened of difference and of change. But that is a human construct. Race is not real. Racism is. So, how does this idea of race begin? How does it all start? This is a question that we're going to ask because it's very important that you understand how it begins. It didn't begin with apartheid. It didn't begin with apartheid. There's a long history of race pseudoscience, racial pseudoscience, and grade 11s and grade 11 educators, I will discuss race theory and social Darwinism in our next unit, and I look very forward to seeing you then. And thank you so much for watching this.